Hi, Charles is the SirBookSage here. It is Friday, December 8th, 2017, and this is my Friday Reads. Now, all of my reading this week has been for A Very Merry Readathon. It's a readathon put together and hosted by Tiny Book Dragon. I will link to her original announcement video down in the description box below. So my reading tonight is going to be finishing up the last book that I'm reading for that readathon, and that is V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic. And I've got about 80 pages to go in this book, and this has been absolutely phenomenal. So I'm super excited to finish off the last 80 pages tonight. And yes, so I've talked about this in my midweek touch base video for the readathon and how much I've been looking forward to this. And it's so far held up to every last expectation I've had. I'm just hoping it has a spectacular ending to stand up to the rest of this book so far. So I'll definitely be knocking this out tonight. And then that leaves me 4 days before the next readathon starts. I'm actually doing 2 more readathons this month. The Holiday Adventure-a-thon from I believe the 13th to the 24th. And I'm also doing the Holly Jolly Read-Along, which is created and hosted by Bookish Porcupine. And that runs the 19th to the 23rd. So in these next 4 days, I have to figure out what am I going to read. Now, the smart read would be for me to finally, and I keep trying to do this, get around to knocking out the last 200 pages of my reread of it. This I was reading in October for Paperback Junkie's It-tober. It was his first time reading this, so he broke it out a bunch of chapters each day to read it throughout the whole month. And I made it 880 pages in, and then the Spookathon, Books and Lala's readathon, pretty much derailed my It read. But I've read it before, so this was a reread for me. But I really do want to get this off my plate before the year's over. So these next 4 days after finishing A Darker Shade of Magic should be the perfect time to really just finish this and put it back on my shelf where it belongs. But it's going to be really, really, really difficult if this book ends as good as it does, the V.E. Schwab book. It's going to be really hard not to pick up and start reading A Gathering of Shadows. Now, I am not reading A Conjuring of Light until it comes out in trade paperback in March. Since I have the trade paperbacks here, I want to get the third one. So it makes sense for me to hold off reading the third one until it comes out in trade paperback, which I believe it's either February or March, but I think it's March. And if I'm going to read 2 of the 3 back-to-back, I'd rather read books 2 and 3 back-to-back rather than books 1 and 2 and then have to wait a couple of months. Because if I read this now, I'm going to end up buying book 3 on ebook because I won't be able to wait. And then if I have these 2 in trade paperback, I'm still going to get the third on trade paperback. And if I have the third one on ebook, I'm going to end up buying the first 2 on ebook. And I'm sure, Victoria Schwab wouldn't object to me buying her books twice in different formats. But I really don't want to do that. Money is pretty limited for me right now, so I have to be smart with my book purchasing. And holding off and waiting until March to read the second one so I can then go right into the third one when it's out on trade paperback seems a smarter move. Plus, it gives me an opportunity to reread this at the beginning of March because it is that good. At least, hopefully, if the ending holds up, it's definitely that good. So, and to give you an example of what I'm talking about here, George Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire. I own Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords, and A Feast for Crows in mass market paperback. When A Dance with Dragons came out, I bought it on ebook immediately because I wanted to get the mass market paperback for my paperback collection. But I couldn't wait. That was when I had to buy that 5th book and read it. And since then, I still have not bought that 5th book in mass market paperback. Each time I do go into the bookstore, I go buy it, I pick it up, I hold it, and I look at it and say, yes, I know I need to buy you, and then I put it back. Because again, my book purchasing money is pretty tight right now, so that's something I'll get around to. But I have since purchased all the first 4 books in ebook. So I have all 5 in ebook now because I can't just have the 5th book in ebook. It's silly. So I don't want to end up going down that road with the V.E. Schwab books as well. So I'm going to be good. I'm going to show willpower. It won't be easy. And I'm going to wait on A Gathering of Shadows, even though A Darker Shade of Magic is absolutely, I can't stop reading it. I just had to stop last night because I was just too tired and I didn't want to read the end of the book exhausted. So I went to bed and I'm going to read this tonight. So I'm going to try and hope to read this because I have 8 books on my currently reading shelf on Goodreads. And I want to have no currently reading books by December 31st, by New Year's. Now, there'll be one exception to that because every Sunday for the next year, I'm doing my Harry Potter first-time reread. So I have a year-long schedule of the 7 books. So I'm going to be in the middle of a Harry Potter book anyway. So that knocks my 8 books down to 7. And then 2 of those are urban fantasy reads that I'm only reading on my Kindle when I go to bed, and I read like a chapter or 2 in bed before sleep. So those don't count because they're not on any particular timeline. So now my 8 books is down to 5. And one of those 5 is A Darker Shade of Magic, which I'll finish today. So I'll be down to 4. So I'm really only down to 4 currently reading books that are books I want to finish and have off my plate by New Year's. The biggest chunk of those is It and A Tale of Two Cities. So I've got these 4 days in before the next readathon start. And then I've got 7 days after all the readathons end that are open. There's a possibility I might be participating in something else in that last week. I don't know yet. I'm waiting to hear word. If not, then between these 4 days and those 7 days, I should be able to finish off these other 4 books. So that's kind of my year-end plans. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be really, really difficult not to open up A Gathering of Shadows. But I'm determined to be smart about my reading. And again, this Sunday, I'm continuing my Harry Potter reread. I think I've got chapters 11 through 14 in Chamber of Secrets this Sunday. That video will be up on Monday. Most likely tomorrow, this Saturday and Sunday videos are going to be my Very Merry Readathon wrap-up and my Holiday Adventure-a-thon TBR. So look for those this weekend as I work my way through a video a day every day for Vlogmas. I think Vlogmas is supposed to run till Christmas Eve, but I'm probably just going to go do it all the way to New Year's Eve. Might as well. It's an experiment. It's fun. It's something new, and I'm having a good time doing it. And I've got a lot of vacation this month, so it makes it a bit easier for me to do a video every day if I'm actually on vacation for about 10 days. But anyway, I'm rambling on too long. I am going to be finishing up A Darker Shade of Magic tonight, and then probably trying to read It the rest of this weekend. At least finish off It. And then Harry Potter, of course. And I will leave it there. This is Charles of SirBookSage. I hope you're having a great Friday. I hope you had a great reading week. And if you're doing Holiday Adventure-a-thon, go Holiday Elf. Everyone else, you're going down. And I will talk to you all in my comments, and I will talk to you on Twitter. And have a great weekend. This is Charles of SirBookSage. Happy reading.